How you doing, everybody? So bear with me. I'm usually not used to speaking in front of a bunch of people. I usually live my life behind a camera, off grid. Me and my wife moved from Los Angeles, although it's not where I'm originally from, but we lived in Los Angeles, living the typical on-grid life out there, trying to make it in the film industry. And when we realized that that kind of life really wasn't working for us, we weren't feeling connected to the kind of life that we actually wanted to have. And that's where, gardening, my wife had always been interested in, and wanting to kind of build a future for ourselves that we created. Like the outside world, we weren't really jiving with it. So we wanted to buy land and kind of build our own life away from all of the whatever you call it, the distractions of the regular world. Now, how were we able to do that? We bought 20 acres of land in the middle of nowhere. We have zero experience. I'm not a builder. I'm not a gardener. I had no idea what the heck we were doing. So we kind of went out there with just a hope and a dream, the will, and a little bit of grit to say, okay, we're going to build this life. But the biggest question was, how are we going to fund this life? Well, where I live there, the town that I live in is a no-light town. I mean, I'm up the mountain, and it's a no-light town with a Dollar General and a gas station. That's it. It takes me about an hour and 10 minutes to get to any kind of good grocery store. So we're kind of out there, and I'm sure some of you live further out in the middle of nowhere than me, but this is definitely a new experience for us. So when we bought this 20 acres and said we're going to build a homestead, we're going to try and become as self-sufficient as we could, how do we fund this? Well, having a little bit of a background in making films, I worked in LA, like I said, on a few movie projects. I've made films with the VP of Disney before, and I said, let's see if we could do social media. We were watching a lot of different YouTube channels, like Jake and Nicole, some of the bigger ones, and we're like, oh, it's just the two of them. We could do this, no problem. So I realized, what really was involved in the actual lifestyle, and then what is actually involved when you're trying to share that lifestyle with the world, when you're trying to make videos, you're trying to vlog it, you're trying to make educational videos. How is that going to make you money, right? Well, 5 years later, I'm now somewhere around about 500 million views on my social media channels, which has actually done really well for us. We've been able to get a lot of sponsorships. If you look at my property, I have a friend, Sean, here has been to my property. 99% of the things that we've built, from our solar to the different fruit trees and everything that we've been actually building this homestead with, have come from sponsorships. So there's a little bit of creativity, storytelling. You can really make what you're trying to do off grid, or even just homesteading and sharing it with the world. You can actually make it a very profitable business, to where, like I said, it's funded our entire lifestyle. And if anybody has any questions as I'm going, we can kind of keep this very conversational. If you have any questions about it, just raise your hand. I guess they'll bring you the mic, and we can kind of keep it going from there. So the myth versus reality of, for me personally, what off-grid is, right? One of the biggest comments I get is, how are you off-grid and you're on TikTok, you're on YouTube, right? Well, in my mind, there are definitely different stages and different levels to this lifestyle. You've got the ones who are extremely experienced, who go out in the middle of the wilderness with sticks and build a house, and they're good. I'm not one of them people. I need the connection. I need the community. I need to be able to look up what I'm doing and make connections with other people who've been doing this lifestyle longer than me, right? Let's see here. So what does off-grid actually mean, right? It's just not connected to utilities, power, water, which we collect rainwater. That's the only source of water I have is rainwater and my creek. We use solar for everything, and it's been able to power everything in our lives with no problem. And again, using YouTube and TikTok, I've been able to build something that I wouldn't have been able to do by myself. I wouldn't have been able to afford it at all. Going back a little bit further, I think one thing that actually prepared me for living off grid and this kind of lifestyle and minimalism, in Los Angeles, I actually ended up homeless. You see those tent encampments that you see on the news that look really horrible in LA. I lived in one at one point. And living my life with very little, almost nothing, really prepared me for this. And I've been able to just build from nothing up to where I am today. So, TikTok. Is anybody here on social media? Is anybody here trying to build a successful social media to help fund? Okay. Let's see if I can get, what have been some of the hurdles that some of you have faced when trying to build that?
I don't know the first step.
The first step?
I don't know. I like technology, but I don't intuit it.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm not on a homestead yet, there are some things I would like to put out there. Crafting things like sewing, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm reasonably good, and as people go into, I know I could do as good or better, but I don't know how to start. I don't know where to start with. Maybe that's too much for this.
Well, no. So one thing I will say about social media and turning it into a business, it doesn't matter what the topic is. You could be talking about freaking spoons there's going to be people out there that are going to relate to the type of content you're going to make, right? So the first thing we'll be doing would be starting your channel, and then the next thing is finding your audience. How do you find your audience in these ever-changing algorithms that we have? Because I do a lot of back-end research. I actually have a TikTok manager. The algorithms are always changing. What brings people to your channel? What brings people and keeps them on your channel? Number one thing, it's storytelling, right? You hear everybody talk about, you got to have that good hook. You'll see people holding a banana as their microphone. None of that stuff really works in the long term, right? Quality content with good storytelling that either, if you're educational, with the information being direct to the point, quick. People's attention spans these days, especially in social media, is a lot shorter. So starting your channel, start making videos. You start looking at your analytics. You start seeing where, on your back end, you start seeing where people are falling off, where they're stopped watching it. And that's where you might want to say, okay, maybe I need to change something up there. They're not resonating with this type of information. So the first 100 videos, you're going to hate them. I go back and I look at my first videos and I'm like, wow, this is embarrassing. And what I've learned from them, and you just keep kind of growing from that point on. Yeah.
I have a question right here. Back to you, I promise. So posting to the multitude of social medias that are out there, do you have like a few that are like the ones that you should focus on, or like do you post to every one of them?
Yeah, so I focus mostly on TikTok and YouTube. My wife does Facebook. There's some people that do Twitter. That's not really my thing. But posting in as many places as you can is definitely recommended. Now, this is going to bring me to another point. You have people say, what is the consistency of posting, right? You'll have people saying post 3 times a day. That's the only way you're going to get, an audience in it. I'm going to tell you that's BS, right? You don't post unless it's worthy of posting. If you're just posting random things, thinking the more videos you post, it's going to bring the more people in, it doesn't work like that. It goes with the quality. Are they getting something? Are they getting either, say, an emotional connection? Are they learning something from you? Are you inspiring them? That's kind of where I went. I kind of went off of the way to inspire people by saying, hey, look, I'm a dude from the city who has 0 experience doing this. I moved down to the middle of the woods with my wife and my dogs, and we've been there for 5 years, and we're still going strong. People seem to like that. It gives them the inspiration to say, okay, maybe we could do it. Was there something else?
Yeah. How do I post the first video? Not what do I put in it, but
actually, literally, how do I post it?
Tell you what, after I'm done this, I'll talk to you about that, because that's a little bit of like a technical thing. I can kind of show you how to do it. Yeah, no problem.
So I'm a functional nutrition practitioner and physical therapist, and so when you're like, do you run ads on your? So it's storytelling. So do you prepare? So this is my big thing is like I have an idea in my head, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I need to prepare and have like things written down, or I'm not going to remember what I want to say. And I just make it this big complicated thing in my head. And because I see other people and other programs that I've done, it's like, hone your message and make sure you've got all this. And it's like, I just get into a freeze state and I don't really take any action because I never feel prepared enough to make a video and put it out there.
Right, okay. So anybody who's clicking on your video within the first 30 seconds should know what the entirety of your video is going to be about, okay? Are you posting on YouTube or like short form content?
No, it's mostly just stories on, just Facebook posts.
Like
That's
Facebook.
really all I'm on right now because, I get caught up, like, I'm gonna stutter in my video and I'm not, because I'm the type of person that I really don't like to do prep work. I like to just, I've flown by the seat of my pants most of my life and I tend to wing things.
Yeah.
And I don't like to do the prep work, I get stalled in it.
Okay, so depending on which platform you're using. If you're using YouTube, apart from shorts, if you're doing long form content, you're going to need to plan out your content 100%. Keeping someone's attention for 15 to 30 minutes is a lot harder than, say, a 60-second or 30-second TikTok. I'll tell you right now, with my TikTok, I pick up the camera and I just start talking. I have a little bit of an idea in my head. I usually have no prep work. I might be like, I'm going to talk about solar today, or maybe a problem I have. And they seem to do good. YouTube, you're going to want to have a definite content schedule and strategy for getting that information out. First 30 seconds, they need to know what the video is about, and then you got to work on, that's where the storytelling comes in. There's plenty of good videos that you could look on YouTube about how to storytell, and it really does, that's what keeps their attention. These algorithms look for engagement. Are people liking what you're saying, right? Are they commenting? How long are they staying on the video? Those are the main things that are gonna have the algorithm push it out and what gives you virility.
Very quick comment on that. You're thinking of it from the standpoint of what you know, but you just need to know a little bit more than the person you're actually trying to teach. So if you can change the mindset, it'd be helpful for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, like, how much content do you actually create versus what you post? Like, how often are you going through and cutting stuff down, editing, splicing stuff together? Like, you're always looking for content to record and then later deciding what you're posting, or are you usually kind of like, at this point, 5 years in, you know what you're doing and then it's going straight up?
Yeah. So some people do it differently. Some people have big libraries of content that they're going to try and post together. I don't like to do it that way personally. I have, like I said, just the idea of what I'm going to be talking about in that video, and then I just focus all those videos on, because it's hard to, it's really, unless you have something actually planned out like we were talking about, it's hard to put content that you've been filming for 5 months over there and put it together into a cohesive story, right? Especially anything that's good that people are going to want to watch. It's really hard to do. Some very experienced editors and photographers can do that. I have trouble doing that. So I thought when I have a topic, I stay focused on that topic. A good strategy to do is start off, film your first 15 seconds, stop it, put it in your editing software, whether it's on your phone or your computer. Film the next part, start adding B-roll, learn how to have supporting footage that's going to support what you're talking about, and edit as you go and film as you go that way. That's a good way for beginners to start, especially if as you get practice, I can, like with me, I'm able to pick a topic, and I can see and plan out the editing completely in my head before I'm doing it. So I know exactly what shots I need, but that just comes with practice. But did that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, sir. This is kind of about algorithms and the content of my page. I post a lot of random stuff, and it's not always the same thing. Do you notice that if you stay on the same topic, if it helps, or staying all around, if that kind of takes away viewers? Because I mean, I'll do everything from like off-road stuff to plant trees or everything, you know. So I'm everywhere, and I've thought about dividing it up into multiple pages and just focusing on one single solitary thing, because that might help the algorithm, but I don't know.
So I'll start off this answer with this one. Nobody out there except the engineers of these algorithms know exactly how they work and what's going to cause them to be pushed out, right? One thing that I have personally noticed, and with I know a lot of big creators as well, way bigger than me, and they started taking off when they focused in on a specific topic on their page. Because what does the algorithms do? They use AI, it's an algorithm, it's learning you, it's learning about your viewers, right? So if you're posting about dogs on one day, then the next thing you're talking about rocket ships, the algorithm never knows who to push it out to, right? So when you first have a video go out, has everybody heard of the 300 view jail? Have you heard that term from people where, you know, you have people posting, they can't get out of 200, 300 views? All right, so it's a problem a lot of people have, and it's because the algorithm doesn't understand you, what your content is about, right? So focusing your content into one topic, it's going to know who to push that out to. It's going to push it out to the right people that are seeking that content. And that's where, like on TikTok with the 300 view jail that people talk about, when you first post a video, it's going to show it to a few hundred people in your of your followers, of your subscribers, right? Now, if you're posting random stuff, and let's say it shows it to the first 200 people, and they're the ones that are interested in rocket ships, but you posted a dog video, and they show no interest, they swipe right by it, they click right off of it. What is that telling the algorithm? It's telling the algorithm that this is low quality content, even if it's not low quality content, right? So really focusing in and down, as long as it can also work if it's within the same space. It doesn't have to all be specifically on one thing. But as long as it's within the same space that you know your followers are going to be interested in that, it's all about learning what your followers are trying to watch and who is the audience that you're trying to reach, making the content for them. Now, that's actually the hardest point. That's the hardest part of being a social media influencer, whatever you want to call it. I live my life by an algorithm sometimes, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, things on this topic are doing really hot this week. So it's like, all right, I guess I'm going to change up my schedule and I'm going to do something on that. If you look at big creators on YouTube, you'll see a lot of time off-grading or homesteading. You'll see that they all, for some reason, were building dome greenhouses within the past 2 weeks, right? Is it because they're talking to each other? No. Are they looking at, well, possibly, are they looking at different analytics of what is a hot topic that week, and then they're following on it because that's bringing in the views and how they're funding their lifestyles. Did you have someone else? Okay.
Hey, I do a lot with social media already and monetized on YouTube, but on
Excellent.
TikTok, how do I get monetized on TikTok? I mean, what am I missing? Like, do I need to just post more often?
So with TikTok, it's been a few years since I've been monetized now. I don't know if they changed things, but I know you have to have X amount of followers and X amount of videos that are over a certain amount of views within a month period. That was the last time that I checked on that one. So
Where would I find that out?
you can go into the TikTok studio and it'll show you the requirements that you still have a little check mark next to it of, correct. It'll show you what you still need to do and to get that. So.
how realistic is it to be able to grow something like this if you're somewhat technologically challenged? I mean, I feel like I can do technology, but sometimes technology doesn't want to do doesn't want to do me. I feel like I bring bad karma to it sometimes, and it gets frustrating. But also while working a full-time job and then trying to do this, where you want this to become your full-time because it's your passion, but you're still like doing, your full-time work.
Right. So social media and being able to, taking the time to get good at editing, learning storytelling, learning proper hashtag strategies, all of these things take time, right? It's a full-time job in itself. It takes some time. And then you have people who just hit that nail in the head, that those first few videos, they put out a great video, the algorithm just blesses them, and they blow up to 100,000 followers in a couple of weeks, right? It's a little the luck of the draw on that, but I will say if you focusing on creating quality content that educates, inspires, shows and gives people an emotional connection, you will be able to grow. I know one lady, she's 86 years old, and she started a YouTube channel, and she blew me out of the water on YouTube. It's nuts, right? But she had really good information. And she also did have a grandson helping her with the editing, but still, it's very possible to do.
And if you're doing your own editing,
Mhm.
starting out, like, what would you recommend for someone that doesn't really know, but never really edited their own content? Like, what would you recommend?
In terms of programs?
For software, like whether it be on the phone or on Apple or.
So in TikTok, I use the TikTok editor. That's fine. I'm an Adobe guy. I like Adobe products. That's what I use for long form. If you're just starting out with editing and you want something that's going to be a little bit more beginner friendly, the user experience is very easy. There's a program called Filmora, which is about $50 a year, and you can do anything that you're going to need to do with it to put out good videos.
What
So.
about the cut, cut, where you just.
CapCut,
Things
yeah,
like that.
that's just another, yeah,
Just another similar.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was wondering what your experience is with evergreen content versus, like you were saying, with storytelling. Because I've noticed a lot of people I've watched grow their channels, past mine, and subscribers are more of the storyteller, and because that builds the community in. But I noticed they're not really making money or getting a lot of views, especially after like the first week on those kind of contents versus even my own versus the evergreen content like a review or a project, because it could be 5 years later and somebody still wants to know how to change that lawnmower belt. Yeah, so I'm still making good money off that. What has your experience with? Do you kind of, because the two going up, because one builds your subscribers, but one pays your bills.
Right.
So what's your take on some of that, if that makes sense?
I try to make every video evergreen. And what he means by evergreen is content that it's not a trend, right? It's content that 5 years, 10 years down the line, that information is still going to be valid for somebody, whether it's how to plant a tree properly or how to take care of pests in the garden or something like that. I tend to go with evergreen content all the time. It just seems to, for me personally, it's built my account up a lot better. I don't do the trend thing, and
Feed your storytelling into that content?
absolutely,
Okay, that's
100%.
You just try to blend the two into a.
Blend the two together. You can take any topic you want and tell it in a beautiful story that's going to, like, I could put two videos side by side and you would be able to tell why one video is doing better than the other one. Is it more interesting to watch? Is the information easier to digest, right? Is it personal because you're putting your personal backstory into why you're solving this problem or why you're giving this information? Yeah. So, I mean, they both work. Evergreen content works the best for me. By doing that, my videos from 5 years ago are still going. Right now I'm averaging about 7 million views a week. So that kind of shows you where that kind of content can keep bringing in, even from videos that are pretty old.
Hi, I just wanted to know if you could speak on what the importance of going live on YouTube is for content creators.
Yeah. So going lives is just a really good way of connecting with your community on another personal level, right? We always, whenever we're filming and we're sitting in front of the camera and we're putting out a video, we have storytelling going on, right? It's always easier to put we always put our best foot forward, right? It allows you to be real. It allows people to connect with you on a much personal level and decide whether or not they're going to keep supporting you, right? So plus going live does help with the algorithm. The more you go live, the more it shows you're engaged with your community, the more the algorithm's going to say this account is serious about what he's doing.
Hey, just real quick, if I've already had a channel, and this is the challenge that I've had a lot of like fits and starts, so I've got a lot of old content. Do you recommend getting rid of that if you're trying to start something new?
Are you talking about, is it a different topic?
It's totally unrelated.
If it's unrelated, I usually would start with something fresh. Just because, again, the algorithm's now trained to show specific people your videos, and if you're putting something out totally unrelated and it's showing to that, you can overcome it. It'll take you a lot longer than just starting off fresh, though, if you understand what I mean, instead of it trying to say, okay, wait, we got to relearn, these are different types of video, we need to find different people. So, and one big tip I can give everybody, I know it is, and I constantly have to yell at my father about this, because anybody he meets, he's always like, check out son's YouTube and TikTok channel, like, subscribe, all like that. Does that help you or hurt you? It's actually going to hurt you. Now, one of the main things that, another main thing that the algorithm looks for is when you post a video, how many of your subscribers are coming to follow it, right? So if you'll see it. Have you ever seen channels that have 1 million subscribers and their videos get 2,000-3,000 views, right? I'm not saying that's all from people, them telling people to follow them. But if you don't have people that are actually interested in what you're posting and they're not going to be there, you want to find people organically. You want them people to find you in the search results and say, oh, wow, this guy has proper information. It was told in a good way. They're the ones that are going to keep coming back. The friends that you say, hey, follow me just to support me because I'm your friend, it's actually going to hurt you in the long run, in my experience. Yeah.
You mentioned that you've got a lot of stuff on the homestead that is sponsored. Are you reaching out and asking for folks to do that, or is this people seeing that you've got an audience and actually reaching out and offering things to you?
Yeah. So as you build your audience, if you build it, they will come. Right? The more you build, the bigger your audience gets, the quality of your videos, the sponsors are going to come in. If they like the way your editing style is, they like the way you present the story, they're going to come to you. And like I was saying, it's 90% of the stuff I have, and I've got a 48-volt solar system. You see my panels. I've got all kinds of cool, nifty stuff that just gets sent to me. And I don't have to seek it out. I have to turn it down nowadays. But in the very beginning, it doesn't hurt to reach out. Now, here's one big misconception people have. That you have to have a channel and a lot of the furthest thing from the truth. Right? I know channels that make a ton more than me, and they've got a quarter of the followers that I do. It's all about monetizing yourself, right? How views should be the best thing that you're trying to make money off of on social media, right? That they're a nice little buffer to you. It definitely helps at the end of the month when you get millions of views and you're like, oh wow, okay, this is a cool chat. But depending, like with what you were saying, you do what was it again? Functional nutrition. I'm sure there's 1,000 different ways, left, right, up, down, all the way, that you can monetize that with classes of your own. Products that maybe you have. Like I harvest things from my property and I make salves and we sell them online. There's so many different ways you can monetize yourself. And even if you only have, say, 200 followers, you got 200 people that are really into what you're doing. And if you have a product that they're following, you can make a decent living with that. And it just gets better and better as you grow. So, yes.
Okay, so on YouTube, if you have a video that's viral and gets a lot of views every day, and it's 4 or 5 years old, do you recommend going in and editing the content in there because it's getting a lot of views, or should you just leave it alone so it doesn't mess with anything?
Are you talking if it's going viral, or you're saying to mess with it again?
No. So the video, is it gets a lot of views, and it's an old video, right? Like his lawnmower video. But when you go and edit the body of it, the words, do you think that that's good, or should you just leave the verbiage that's below the video alone? Because I don't know if it would be helpful or if it would hurt.
I actually don't know the answer to that, but I will say that I have tried re-editing after a video has already been pushed out, and I have never noticed any big change in that. But I mean, that's something I would look into. I don't know the answer to that. It hasn't worked for me. What do we do? So here's something. What do you do if you have a video that does better than the normal videos? Let's say you get 1,000 views normally, right? And then you have a video that does 3,000 views. Replicate, repeat, right? If people are resonating with a specific way you do things or a specific topic, piggyback off that. Keep going with it. It means that people are interested in that, right? All right. Is there anything else real quick? So here's a big one. I had to write this down as I was thinking of it. It's kind of like the digital dilemma I was kind of calling in my head. The tension between authenticity and content creation, right? There's a lot of pressure to perform your lifestyle. Well, for me, I'm talking from an off-grid perspective. There's a lot of pressure to perform your lifestyle instead of actually living it, right? If anybody here is one of the people who do some content creation, when you're building out there, or you're whatever the content is you're doing it, filming it makes it 10 times longer to do that exact same project, right? You're always worried about that perfect shot. That's where having the schedule or the plan ahead of time comes into place, because you know the shots that you want to have, and you can be a little bit more authentic in what you're saying just in the camera, because again, we always try to put our best face forward on camera for the world. That's honestly one of the hardest things for me is finding that healthy balance between living the lifestyle that I'm living and how I'm actually going to show that to the world, all right? So boundaries on that. Scheduling time. My whole life, it revolves around a camera. Scheduling time to actually just live the life and enjoy the life versus showing it. Sometimes you got to find, because I drive myself crazy sometimes trying to put out the perfect videos, oh my God, this video didn't do so well. Now my whole life is just surrounded on an algorithm, right? It makes life a little bit more difficult. Being a content creator is a full-time job. It can be stressful. You have to engage with your community, and you get 50,000 comments on a video. It's like, whoa, obviously you can't respond to everything, but yeah, that's pretty much on that. Was there any questions on what I just said? I thought I saw a hand raised. No? All right. Different types of income streams. Views is your first one. Sponsorships. Now, free stuff is great, but getting the free stuff should not be your main goal on it. It's to review that product, to sell that product, right? You want, though, the main way you make money from that is by people using your affiliate link and you putting the product out there, giving an honest review on it, so that I live in a geodesic dome. I wish I'd never bought the geodesic dome. I watched other YouTubers who made it sound amazing and great. It was the best thing. Look how cool it looks. It has been the bane of my existence. It has been the temperature control of my dome this past Sean, he was there one day, and can tell you, this whole summer, it was 115 degrees inside my home with the air conditioning on. We could not get it cooled down, not at all. And then in the wintertime, even though we have a wood stove, until we really got it cranking up, my dome was negative 10 degrees at some points. It was a really hard life, and that was because I listened to people who were not being honest and wanted to sell a product or sell you on the dream of the idea look how beautiful it is. And now me and my wife have been fighting an uphill battle for years. Like, okay, we're done with the dome. We're not building onto it anymore. We got what we need. We're going to focus on going forward. So, main income stream is going to be reviewing these products, giving an honest review, because as people buy them and they start saying the same thing about, okay, this is a good product, this is helping me out in this aspect of my life, and it just keeps snowballing from there. And there's people who make 6-7 figure incomes just from affiliate. Like it's crazy. Did you have something? Okay, no. Let's see. No, I had something else here for you. So, going back to, what's that? 5 minutes? Okay, perfect. Just going back to the reality of what off-grid is for me. You can live a simple life. It doesn't mean that you have to forego modern conveniences, right? I have a fridge. I have, like I said, an air conditioner. We use modern tools to help us build up our property, right? Social media has been something that's really, it's opened me up to a lot of different communities, people who have been actually able to teach me. I went from not knowing how to garden to I've got a food forest, and we've got a giant garden where we've been harvesting, learning how to can, do all this amazing stuff, right? And sorry again, I'm not used to speaking in front of people. This is a little nerve-wracking, but what's that?
Said the YouTuber.
So, well, yeah, with a camera and nobody around but the trees, like it's a lot easier. The edit and delete button is like the best thing ever. So, what I will say, if anybody does have any specific, if someone has a channel and they have any specific questions to the channel and want to come up to me and talk to me and get some advice, I can give you a quick little overview, look at it, what you've got going on, give you some tips that I've learned. And again, I am not an expert. I'm just sharing with you the things that works for me. I've tried to learn from looking at people who don't make, in my opinion, good videos, and looking at the ones who are getting the millions of views. And that's kind of where I found that happy medium of, okay, this is who I am, your authentic voice. Authenticity is the #1 thing that's going to make a successful channel, right? People, and we all know, we watch videos, you can tell when somebody's not being authentic. You can see right through it. And that right there will kill a channel. That's the #1 channel killer, in my opinion. So, is there any other questions real quick before? All right, well, I thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you. I hope I answered some questions. And again, I'll be here for a little while if anybody would like a little bit more in depth. All right, thank you so much. And remember, it's if you follow me on TikTok, it's Off-Grid Sean, and Off-Grid and Growing on YouTube. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much. Give it up for Sean. He says he can't talk in public, but I think he just proved himself wrong. Well done, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, moving right along into our next session, I'm going to bring up our next speaker. She is known as the Combat Midwife. How many of you have helped soldiers deliver babies in the mean streets of Kandahar? If you want to know more, Jessica Arnold, the Combat Midwife, please come on up.
We're going to plug into the
Slides.
You're glowing.
Annie?
You're literally, yeah, and I can hear you when you talk.
Cool.
While we're getting set up, we are getting closer to our goal. We only need to make about $675 more to reach the $2,000 threshold to get that second anonymous donation to Dark Horse Lodge. So during the lunch hour, please come see me, come see the gals and guys at the front, purchase a couple more opportunity tickets. All the prizes are up here. You can come take a look at them, touch them, hold them, see what's in them, figure out what it is you might win tonight.
More? It is? Okay.
Technology is supposed to make life easier, folks, but you'll see how true that is. All right, to the stage, the Combat Midwife.
Good morning, everyone. How are we? Have you just enjoyed this weekend so much? How is it Sunday already? And you've learned so many cool things. I got like rock star situation out there because I'm right so close I can hear everybody's speech, so it's great. I can man my booth and hang out and speak with you guys. So many of you have come to talk with me, and I'm very honored that you guys did that. So thank you so much. My name is Jessica. I'm known in the world as the Combat Midwife. I was not smart enough to come up with that name. It was given to me by my soldiers. So my background is I'm a paramedic and a midwife, and I've been training the combat medics, the flight medics, and special warfare medics for years. I'm not going to say the number out loud because then I started when I was 7, right? Okay, thanks. Perfect. So, yeah, that's the power of being a homeschool kid. You can just start doing really cool things when you're 7. Just joking. I am a homeschool kid. Okay, cool. So a little bit about me is like I said, I'm a paramedic and a midwife. And I have worked in Afghan refugee camps. I've worked in birth centers. I've done home birth. And I got headhunted by the military to say, hey, can you come teach our guys how to do some really cool stuff out of a backpack? And I said, sure, that sounds like fun, because I have a rule, never say no to meeting with someone and making a connection, because just like being here, I've met so many beautiful and wonderful people that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to hang out with. And I love meeting all of you, and it's really cool because we get to benefit from each other, which is really what I want to focus on today. So I'm going to teach you some cool tips and tricks today, but I really want us to focus on where do women fit in the preparedness space, because I don't know about you, but it was kind of overwhelming to me, and I felt really not sure where to start. So I kind of want to just share a little bit of my story with you. So I mentioned a little bit earlier, I was a homeschool kid, so we got to kind of pick our own curriculum. And my mom was like, I don't know what to do with this kid who wants to learn about all this medical stuff. So she just did the best thing possible and dropped my butt off at the library, right? And just said, go learn about whatever the heck you want to learn about. And I was just so obsessed with everything medical and learning about the woman's body and how we give birth. And we're really kind of cool creatures on this planet. We do really cool things. We can grow humans, feed them, and all sorts of fun stuff in between. And I just fell in love with that. Flash forward, I had a very type A personality midlife crisis at 12 and realized, oh my God, I am going to go to medical school to learn how to deliver babies, and what if I don't like blood? So my uncles were firemen, and they said, hey, if you can become a firefighter and a medic, you can do literally anything. And I said, okay, done. So I did that in high school, and I fell in love again with medicine, but from a different point of view, and I loved trauma. So that's kind of my background, and then I went to midwifery school. Yes, that's a real world. Midwifery. It is not a Harry Potter spell. So that was kind of my background, and then we went to war, right? And the Army called me, no joke, this is not hyperbolic. I literally got a phone call from the Army that said, hey, can can you come interview and learn or teach our guys how to be combat medics? And I said, yeah, like, sure. I did not know what that was, but I just have a rule: never say no, because you don't know what relationship you can cultivate with that. So I said, okay, sure, I can do that. So I went to the interview, got hired on the spot. I started on Monday, and I knew nothing about the military. I could teach the medicine, under the influence of adult root beers and half asleep, right? But I definitely did not know the uniform or the patches or I didn't know any of that. So that was a really fun experience, but then they kind of noticed that I have a specialty, and I have a really big passion for kids, and I have a really big passion for women. And so I said, hey, let's kind of specialize in this. And so while I moved up in the ranks, if you will, I said, hey, I really think we're missing the boat. And the military does this often, where they focus on one thing and they really perfect that one thing. And they do that in the medical field too. And they love trauma, which I understand, right? Things go boom and then people get holes in them, and I get it. But ultimately, we also need to know how to take care of other situations. And since my specialty is women and kiddos, I said, hey, we're really dropping the ball on being able to take care of the populace that we're dropping things on, right? Because there's an aftermath. No matter what your political affiliation is, we all understand what's happening in Syria, or I hope we do. We all understand what's going on in Gaza, or I hope we do. And that's catastrophic for the people that are left living in that. And so my guys were like, yeah, I'm getting dropped into these places, and I don't know how to take care of the people that are most vulnerable, which is women and children. And so today I kind of want to be able to show you why that's just so important. So here's some pictures to just make you think and make you think about what's going on in the world. So some of those pictures are from Syria. The one in the middle is the picture when Afghanistan fell. If you guys all remember that debacle in 2021, where we had an administration pull out of Afghanistan overnight. And we left Americans there. We left dogs, our working dogs there. We left a lot of stuff, and it was really catastrophic. But do you see the women there? Do you see they're just throwing their babies over Constantine? Why? Because they said, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going home today. Right? But I know that really nice guy in that really cool uniform is going to do everything he can to make sure my baby's okay. Did you guys know that there's an entire organization that had to be created during World War II because so many babies and children were left on people's doorsteps that had more money and more provision than they did? An entire organization in Europe had to be created because a mom said, my house has been bombed. I have no more tinned milk. I have nothing to give you. I am not going to make it. But I know that person over there has provisions. Y'all, I pretend that I'm super tough, but I'm kind of girly. You're just going to have to deal with it. So that's something that we need to know as people that are in the preparedness space. Y'all have animals and you all have provisions that have been made to take care of your family. But can you imagine you wake up one day and there's a baby in a basket on your front doorstep, or a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old with a note around their neck that says, I can't take care of them. Please make my little ones. I just take my little ones. Right? And every woman in here is looking at me crying because all your ovaries are clenching. Right? Because whether you have children or not, we are biologically created to make sure that the next generation moves to the next spot. Right? Like we know that we may not be here forever, but we want the next generation. And so I just want to tap into that for you ladies and go, we have so much that we bring to the table. Right? We have so many things that we bring to the table. So we're going to talk about that in a hot second. But when you're going through your preps, I really want you guys to think about, where have I missed the mark about the women in my life? Okay, so who knows a woman? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up. Who likes a woman? Okay, cool. Do you have a sister, a daughter, a mother, an auntie? Right? We all, that's 50% of the population, y'all, right? So we all know someone in our life. So even if we're not in childbearing age anymore, or we choose not to have children, or that's not in our God's design for us, that's okay. There's a million other things that we're going to learn and be able to contribute to. But let's think about our own personal preps. Whether you have made a decision for your family to bug in or bug out, right? Did you pack menstrual and hygiene items in your bug out gear? You know, and then if you are doing those things, what did you pick? Because those run out. Ladies, how many boxes of pads and tampons do you need 5 to 7 days to menstruate? A couple of them, right? That takes up space. So what about doing things like reusable pads? They're healthier for you. You can wash them real quick, hang in a tree to dry, and use them the next day. Or what about those period underwear? That's a great option too. I love those. Those happen to be my personal favorites. Now you know something personal about me. You're welcome. Okay, those are great. You want to make sure that when you're buying these items, you're buying them from reputable sources. A lot of companies are using PFAS and plastic. You want to stay away from that. Here's why. Not only because it's just gross and it's detrimental to your health and your fertility in general, but because it traps gunk. So we're all covered in bacteria, right? We're human beings and we're more bacteria than we are human DNA, and God made us that way because that's how we protect our host body, right? But when we are wet, warm, right, and dark, that's where things grow. So if I'm putting on a material that's plastic-based, it's going to trap all of that bad stuff, bad viruses, bad fungi, bad bacteria. It's going to keep us in that spot. And now I've created a whole new problem. Can you imagine having a yeast infection and you can't get to Walgreens? Can you imagine having bacterial vaginosis and Walmart's not available or they're completely not stocked with things? So come to my class, come hang out with me at my workshop, because I'm going to teach you that you have very basic things in your kitchen right now that you probably don't even know about. Right? Where's my gardeners in here? Raise your hand. Fantastic. Are you growing garlic? Do you have garlic in your house? Right? We want clean, non-fungal, we want the good stuff, not the stuff in the store, right? We want good stuff. Maybe you know a neighbor who's growing garlic, right? Where's your hands? Yeah? So if that's not your expertise, maybe you're doing more meat and you're doing chickens, but you're not doing garden. That's okay. Swap with somebody. You need some garlic in your house because that's a suppository right there to treat a bacterial infection or a yeast infection. 7 days of a suppository of garlic, and you'll be on the right track to health. And then you're all looking at me going, you want me to stick garlic in my vagina? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, because that's going to kill the bad stuff that's growing, and it's going to clean everything out. Nothing's going to get lost in there. Okay, it is a closed circuit. Ladies come to me like, I lost it. No, you did not. Where did it go? Your tonsils? That's not connected, y'all. What is wrong with you? Okay, now I have to bring out my little mannequin. I have to go, this is how your body works. Right? Exactly. Gentlemen, come to my class. You need to learn some things. So yeah, just think about how we can take care of our ladies and put some stuff, just stock some things, right? Garlic is really shelf stable. You can put that in your prep closet or your pantry or whatever you're doing. And then also stocking up on other things like, ladies, can you imagine attempting to bug out and you've got cramps? Come on, man, I don't got time for, if it's cramp time, I gotta put Lord of the Rings on, I gotta put a heating pack on my belly, and I'm checked out, like, where's my ice cream? You know what I mean? It hurts. It's not comfortable, but if it's an emergency and I gotta go, I need my partner to understand my cycle so he knows where I'm at so he can meet me there, right? I need him to know, oh, she's in her luteal phase or she's in her follicular phase, which watch out because I'll kick you in the, I can lift more, I can hike more, I can go longer, right? Because I have different collection of hormones pumping through my body. But if it's my luteal phase, I'm tired. My body is prepping for things, right? It's saying get rid of all this stuff. We don't need it. So that's important for us to remember. All right, so talk about your sanitary and hygiene items, but then also think about things like tinctures, homeopathic remedies, herbal remedies that you can keep that are in smaller. You probably have these things in larger quantities already in your home. So think about going to the store and buying all those tiny little 1 ounce bottles, right? The travel bottles, the amber bottles, and filling them up with different tinctures and different remedies for things like cramps or infections that women. Can you imagine having a UTI and needing to bug out? No. Okay. I had gone most of my life without having a UTI, but I'd treated them a ton of times in my patients, and I finally got one. I was so excited. I know you think that's weird, but I was so stinking excited because I was like, great, because I don't recommend things to anyone that I haven't done to myself already, because I want to really believe in it that much. And so I was like, yes, oh, UTI, this is great, because I'm going to use everything and figure out what the heck works so I can help someone else. Telling someone, go drink some cranberry juice, you'll be fine. No, man, I need some higher strength stuff, right? And not only that, but the burning, and I don't want it to turn into pyelonephritis, so an actual kidney infection. That's how people die. Like, you can legitimately die. So we want people to understand how to trap it early, take care of the infection, and move on from there. Who's really into herbal medicines? Oh, good. That's wonderful. There are some great things we're going to learn. I have tea recipes that I've used that are tried and true, and there's same concentrations on those slides in my workshop where you can learn about how to actually turn them into tinctures. So if that's better for traveling or whatever your situation is, that's also helpful. And then I created some really cool stuff. I hope some of you will come visit me today because there's some different faces I haven't been able to see in here. But come see me today because I want to go through and actually open up the OB kit, because I have one here, and show you all the components so you can touch and feel it. But I created an OB kit. It's an emergency OB kit. It's not for planned home birth. That's a completely different item that you can get from me. But this is for, feces hits the oscillating device situation, right? And it's a situation where, oh geez, this is not working, but I want to be prepared for if I need to deliver a baby, right? Can you imagine a woman who's been, maybe everything goes good down and her husband left to go get things like, went to hunt a deer and get some firewood, and he never came back. And she's this much pregnant. She's going to go, I need help, right? I need someone to help me. So it's a great thing to have in your prep area. And I can talk about expiration dates and all that fun stuff. Come hang out with me at the table, but I'll let you touch and feel. It's really cool. This was created because I had a team of guys that were going on we'll call it a humanitarian mission. And they were like, hey, Miss A, we don't have anything in our bags, right? To like take care of a mom and a baby. What do we do? And I said, I don't know, let's dump it out and kind of go through it. I mean, I haven't memorized what they carry in their bag. I was like, let's see it and kind of look at. So I ran to my car and grabbed my kit and I brought it in. I was like, here, you can have all of these, and here you can have this. And so this kit was created specifically for them. And I have a lot of teams guys that carry this exact kit. It's packaged differently for them, but they carry all these items, and they either add it or subtract it as a, carabiner, like clip it on if they need it, if they're going to go do something cool. So it's really great to have and be able to take care of little ones. But I have everything from a birth certificate, so there's little printers for the feet, so you can measure them and all that stuff. And you're thinking, why is that important? Like, well, I just need to catch the kid, right? No, if it's grid down, trafficking is a real thing, even with grid up, right? can you imagine someone just delivered a baby and you don't know where that baby goes? So there's thumbprints on there, so you can say, this mommy had this baby, because we don't have any way to document anything, right? And that's super duper important. Can you tell me the time? Perfect. So from there, I want to just talk a little bit about women being in the preparedness space. My introduction to being prepared really came from the military, because those guys think about things from a completely different, they look through a completely different viewfinder. So they're always teaching me really cool skills, whether it's land navigation or using a weapon, or we kind of share skills back and forth, which is really fun, and I'm super blessed with that. That's great. But ladies in here, has it just been kind of overwhelming for some of you, going, I don't really know where to start, or I live in an apartment, or I'm single and this doesn't really, I don't have a family, I don't belong to something, or maybe you have a really cool skill that you could share with us, but you kind of feel overwhelmed and maybe you're underappreciated in some of the areas because you're like, well, that's kind of like the dudes do that. I know I did. I do sometimes still feel that way. Even when I'm trying to teach my workshop, I go, I hope this is helping and blessing people, but sometimes I feel like I get overshadowed sometimes. And so I know I do. I'm single. I don't belong to a big community. And so that I feel like I don't fit sometimes. And for me, that's kind of scary. What if something bad happens? And it's just me. So I want to share with you guys, as ladies, my ladies out there, you're valuable. You belong. I want you to feel special here. I want you to feel included. And good God, someone look, am I going to start my period soon? So just kidding, I'm not. All right. But geez Louise, it can be overwhelming and you just feel like you don't fit. So I want you to feel like your voice matters and you belong here. So let's just talk about some things. Maybe you're really good at cultivating relationships. Who's kind of like my social butterflies out there, and you know that this person belongs to this person, and yeah, that one right there, right? And who's really good at maybe watching the kiddos, or who's really good at cooking and baking off grid, like who really knows how to do that? Or man, I met someone early this morning and she's a really cool lady. I don't see her in here, but she's an electrician. That's super cool, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I just like, I just need to turn the darn thing off if I'm going to do something that involves wires. I probably shouldn't touch electricity, right? So, but that's cool. She could teach me, because sometimes it's intimidating to ask the men in our life, hey, could you teach me this? And it's not that I feel like you're mansplaining, just sometimes it feels intimidating. So ladies, find the other ladies in your group and work with them together. And then let's create a really cool space, gentlemen, to let those ladies come into the fold. And then let's include them too, right, guys? Because you guys have really cool stuff and we can swap information. So I made a really cool thing for you. Okay, where are my book girls out there? Where's my book girlies? Yeah, okay, I'm a super big book nerd. I have a book addiction that I am choosing not to work on, okay? All right. So I love to read, and I fly through books and I collect them. And I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, and she was talking about creating your own personal curriculum. Has anybody heard about that kind of going around, maybe on the TikTok, Instagram world? And I was like, your own personal curriculum? What the heck is that? That's kind of, what is that? And I went, oh, this is like homeschool, but for adults. I love it. So for me, I told you earlier, I feel overwhelmed and I feel scared sometimes when it comes to learning new things. So I created a personal curriculum for you. And if you just click on the little download there, you can have it for free. And what this is going to do is it's going to help you create some goals and make some lineups. So let's fill this out together. You guys want to fill this out together with me? So someone just yell out, what new skill do you want to learn in the next year? In 2026, what new skill do you want to learn? No, okay, I heard not tying, but so what a lady said something over here.
medicine. Okay, so on the little goal there, we want to be what? Self-proficient in the medical field, right? You want to be able to take care of yourself. That's your goal, right, babe? Love it. So we're going to put our goal at the top. And then from there, our first little line there, we're going to put home medicine, right? You want to make your own apothecary? Love it. Okay, so she wants to make her own home apothecary that is going to take care of herself and her family. Yep. Okay, cool. So we're going to do that. So who's really knowledgeable in that field? Raise your hand. Who's really good at making a home apothecary in this room? Okay, apparently it's me. Okay, cool. It's me. So we'll talk later. Okay, girlfriend, I'll give you some book ideas. But on this list, we're going to go ahead and we're going to be able to say, okay, so these are my goals. This is what I want to do. So her first goal in the next year, she wants to become more proficient in home apothecary. So what are some assignments she could do? Obviously, you're going to go to the library and get a bunch of books. But does anybody have an example on maybe a YouTuber that has some really great knowledge for creating your own home apothecary? Say again? Rain Country. I don't know that one, so that's great. So you're going to write that down, girlfriend. Okay? What other resources could we use? Are there any classes that you have maybe personally taken out here that you think that would be a really cool class to take and it would help somebody brand new? Anybody? Oh, fantastic. We have a local resource right here. Do you know the name of it, love? Perfect. Okay, so we have a local resource. So we've got books, we've got a YouTube channel, and we've got a local class you can take, right? And so we're going to write those down. And then from there, we can kind of go over I put some seasonal goals there because I know that I get really excited at the very beginning to learn something new. And then I go, I am overwhelmed, right? And I just kind of tucker out after that. So these are some ways to kind of help us stay on task, like how much time during the week, what should be some goals I can set that are easily attainable, and then I gave you a little reading list at the bottom. So I'm going to do this myself this year, and I'm adding some cool things on there for me to learn. I haven't whittled it down to what I want to do, but I wanted to come to this event and go, ooh, I want to learn that, and ooh, I want to learn that. So I'm going to make this with you, and I'd love for you to go on this journey with me, and I would really love for you to go ahead and share your goals with me. So if you post it on Instagram, tag me in it or send it to me in a DM, I would love to see what your journey is because I can grow from you as well. All right, guys, so I'm going to open up the floor a little bit to some questions if you have any questions for me.
Any questions?
We've got
I know there's at least 4 of them.
There's
Oh, we
this
got
lovely lady
right here.
right here. My new friend.
So I guess it would just be a question about if you are alone and you are like this pregnant. Are there any quick tips or anything, or is that you'd like visit the booth for to get more information?
If you are alone and you find yourself in labor situation, and first thing is find safety. I would say find safety and then find a clean place. You know, women have been delivering babies on their own for a millennia. I mean, I don't recommend that. I think you should be loved on and catered and taken care of and spoiled by someone really cool like me who really loves to spoil mamas. But if that's not an option, I would say safety first, a clean environment, catch that baby. Your placenta will come out when it's ready. Don't pull on anything. It'll come out on its own, I promise. It always works. And then you'll be good to go. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to find a really nice traditional midwife. Yes, my dear.
Are there any herbal medicines that help with postpartum hemorrhage?
Yep. So I have a collection of those already picked out for you in my OB kit. But yarrow, shepherd's purse, angelica are some of the most common things. Alfalfa, those are really great ones. I really encourage really good prep before you get to that point so you never need them in the first place. So that's
lots of iron, lots of protein, both during pregnancy, so you never need that. However, we know that when, you know, what hits the fan, we may lose access to those food groups. And so having options to prevent it after is great. That was a good question. Yes.
I thought of another one, and it was just when you were talking earlier about partners, you know, husband and wife, and the husband knowing what stage his wife is in, and the wife knowing what stage she's in. Do you have any recommendations or any, I guess, anecdotes about how to have that kind of conversation or how to start learning about that kind of stuff as a woman and as a man, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty blunt. So I just go, hey, dude, do you understand a menstrual cycle? And he goes, I mean, sure, you like bleed for 4 days, right? And I go, yeah, it's a whole cycle. Have you heard of the moon? It's 28 days long. There's 4 phases, kind of looks like. Anyway, I just, you know, have a conversation. I like to joke around and have fun with it a bunch, so it's lighthearted. But just like the guys in our lives teach us really cool things and support us and stuff, we want to be able to support them. And so understanding it first ourselves is super important, and then we can pass that knowledge on because that is very helpful information. Great question.
Jans, it's free.
One here and one there. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have resources on your website for her question?
Yeah, so I have really great resources on my website. So under the publications page on combatmidwife.com, there's a bunch of free resources. So there's a ton of podcasts I've already been on where I've talked about a lot of these questions you're asking right now in depth. But I've also have a book that's open source that you can read. I have articles I've published or that have been published of me writing them. So you can read some free stuff on there that's absolutely open source. You can devour that. This lady and then this lady, I think. Just 1 second, love.
What about any recommendations if you're trying to prepare your body for pregnancy?
Whew. Okay, so that's going to look different for a lot of different people because we want to figure out where your underlying health is first and then go from there. So if we're dealing with someone who maybe is polycystic or endometriosis, that's going to look very different than someone who doesn't have those things. If someone has low hormones, I really recommend doing something like the Dutch test. Has anybody ever heard of the Dutch test before? So that's going to look at all of your hormones, and it's called Dutch because it's a dry urine, something or other. It's not my job to memorize that stuff. But it's really easy to do. You can order it online, and it gets sent to your home, and then the results get sent to a Dutch-educated provider. So they already know how to read that test because they've gone through that program's education. So it's really, really great. I would start there. So we need to know where hormones are first. And I would recommend that test for anyone, male or female, whether or not you're trying to conceive, because we all want to be at our optimal body function, and hormones is like the biggest part of that. Yes, ma'am.
Where is your booth?
My booth is right there, right out that door, right next to the coffee. I will be there the rest of the day. Come hang out with me, touch and feel all the fun stuff. Yes, my love.
There's more on men being healthy before conceiving.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, you know, us ladies, we got kind of a bad rap, right? And they always say that once you hit 35, you're like dead because you can't have a baby anymore and your eggs are all dust. That is hogwash. Okay, absolute hogwash. Until menopause is complete, we can have babies. All right? So I will tell you, gentlemen, that your swimmers are way more fragile than my eggs. So men after the age of 30, your super swimmers decline dramatically. Now, that is not me. I am not about doom porn. Okay, I don't like that. I don't like doom and gloom at all. If you've got something going on and you've been called to have kiddos, come and talk to me. Let me help you. All right? I want to help people have the family that they want to have. Because a lot of times we just have to fix hormones and we can do the things that we need to do. But gentlemen, your balls have got to be cool. Okay? And I mean temperature cool. You got to ice those babies. And I'm not joking. all right, daily. And you need to get rid of all that plastic underwear, and you need to go ahead and make sure you get your phone out of your pocket, and you need to stop putting your laptop on your lap, and you need to eat appropriately. And if I see a stinking energy drink in your hand, I'm going to toss it out of there. I'm going to go out of here. Okay, you got to cut caffeine, you got to cut alcohol, you got to increase your protein. I run a tight ship, y'all.
How would a MAG or church group contact you, or do you go talk to those groups, or what would the availability be for providing a community with your class?
You come talk to me, we make it happen. Yep, you come talk to me, we make it happen.
Online.
Ooh, fancy.
All right, we have a question from the wide web. What do you recommend for a woman planning another pregnancy after a miscarriage?
Oh, lovely. That's a great question. I am so sad to hear that our miscarriage rate in the United States in 2022 was up 500%. And we all know the reasons behind that. And I'm not going to say it because we're trying to honor the YouTube world, right? But we all know why that happened. And shedding is real, right? That is a real thing. So even if you didn't do the thing, you were exposed to the thing. And that's real. So there are so many women and men whose hormones are completely whacked, and it's fixable, guys. You do. Satan doesn't want us to have babies. Okay? That's it. And we're here to make warriors. We want warrior babies, right? And so in order to do that, we've got to take ownership over our bodies. He doesn't have any dwelling on my body. Get out. You don't belong here. So my thing is we got to fix those hormones. We got to figure out where the disconnect is, and then you got to find yourself a traditional midwife, not someone in the hospital, and you got to have that baby at home so they're healthy and strong and warriors. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Sold to the Radiant Red.
Well, the good news is you know what her birth is. Guys, you heard it here first. Ice your balls. Everybody, the Combat Midwife, Jessica Arnold.
Can I just do a closing?
Before you're off the stage, where else can people find you? What's your website? What's your socials?
So on the screen here, you have my website, which is combatmidwife.com. That'll connect you to all the socials. I highly recommend that you sign up for my newsletter. I don't like emails either, but my newsletters are cool, and here's why. Here's why, guys. Each month is a topic, and they're 4 Mondays, so it's Midwife Monday, and in those Midwife Mondays, we talk about preps you need to be adding, we talk about herbs you need to be collecting, and I help you fill in the void that you have in your preps. So every month has a topic. So maybe, what was September for in the prepping world? Wasn't that like National Preparedness Month? And then October was like water, right? So I focus on all of those things in that month, and I help you spread out the stress over a 12-month calendar. It's really fun. The other thing is if you're on my newsletter email list, when I launch 2026 dates for the Combat Midwife Workshop, you'll be the first to know before I launch it to the public, so you don't have to go, I didn't get a ticket, dang it, right? We will be coming to Nashville, so that's awesome, and then you can see all the stuff and ask me all the questions. I'll see you guys there. Thank you so much. Oh, the giveaway. Please make sure that you come to the booth because I am doing a couple giveaways, so come sign up for the giveaway at the booth, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks, everybody. God bless you, and I'll see you later.
Let's give it up one more time for the Combat Midwife. Thank you so much, Jessica, for being here. All right, before everyone leaves, there's something we didn't get to yesterday because the schedule got condensed. Somehow, we are actually ahead of schedule, so we're going to do the connection session with Nicole Sass. So please welcome back to the stage your host, Nicole.
All Okay, I just did a big loop around the vendors. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to like acknowledge the claps. I am in full-on focus mode, which is different than the full-on scatter mode that was up until this moment. I just did a loop with the vendors, and I don't know if you know this, but we have a weaving demonstration down there around the back. So if you're interested in seeing how people make fabric out of spun wool, check that out. They're just in today. I just wanted to mention that. The surprise vendor, but some really cool salves down there. Did you see? It's Buffalo. What is it? Buffalo Spirit Farm. Yeah. They've got spices. They've got salves. They've got soaps. I spent about 15 minutes of the Combat Midwife's talk. I'm missing her talk a little bit. Talking to them because they gave me some really good feedback. They've loved their interactions with you. So thanks for doing that. Now, connection session. Who's been at one before? A connections session. Okay, everything we do here with community doesn't matter if you leave here, go home, and don't take the next step. What is the next step? Literally, the only reason we're here is to find your tribe. What does that mean, really? Does it mean form a militia and take over the world? Microphone. You're mute on.
You're on.
Does this work now? Okay. It's my mic. I've sounded like karaoke with this mic, as a matter of fact. Okay, so find your tribe doesn't mean go form a militia and prepare for being taken over to overthrow the U.S. military invasion of your home or I know. That's your job. It means find the people who may not be family who become like family. And Brenda, who's over there, she doesn't know it, but the day that you called me, we talked, and you said, I am so thankful for Self-Reliance Festival because of the connection session, because I met people a few years ago at Self-Reliance Festival who are like family to me now, and I can count on them for anything. That was a day when I was feeling a little bit low because of the overwhelming number of tasks for the event. And I wasn't sure people still wanted to come. I was like, is it worth doing? We all have those moments, right? We have those moments. Sometimes there's somebody who's not you trying to undermine you, as we have discussed today, trying to get you to stop following your purpose in life. And then sometimes somebody else tells somebody to call you and tell you their story. So you made my day that day. You know what? Huh? A lot of them are here today. Raise your hand if you're part of your tribe. Look at that. Okay, so what I want to know, is there anybody here who hasn't really found anybody within a couple hours of them who they feel like they can really trust? Raise your hand. Can I pick on you? Okay, I'm going to call on you if you raise your hand, and if you don't want to talk, do this. Okay? It's okay, I understand. I'm an introvert. So, where do you live? Michigan. Okay. UP? No, here. Yeah, okay. Who else is from Michigan here? Who has family up there? Raise your hand. Okay. Can you two, right now, walk over to Selena's Homestead Glamour booth and share information and make connections? Also, make sure you circle back with me via email, and anybody else in Michigan, I will try to email with you too, because we have a Michigan contingency who is not here. Okay. Hands up still. Feel isolated. Where are you from? Where do you live? Wisconsin. Have you met Carrie?
I can fix that for you. You want me to take her over?
Could you take her to Carrie right now?
I can do that for you.
Also, the person who is making all of the cartoon memes that you guys love on Facebook and on our socials, have you seen those? Hey, could Barbie stand up, please? If you saw Barbie Valerie, but anyway, she's in Wisconsin. And there is, I believe, there might be another Self-Reliance Festival launching over there from Wisconsinians. What is the word? Wisconsinites. So, okay, next. I saw your hand up.
I'm about an hour north of Asheville.
Hour north of Asheville. Anybody near Asheville? The person who's here, so we're doing Self-Reliance Teens right now with Alan Booker and Oprah Bringer. They're over there. Alan Booker, who is an amazing permaculturist and community builder. He lives in Alabama. He is in the process of moving to that area, as is a whole group of people. Yes. Do you know how to reach me? It's Nicole at livingfreeintennessee.com. I can connect you if you email me after Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm bringing 10 boys to the processor. What was yours? Billy Bond's in the Asheville area. I'd be happy to connect you with him too. I don't know how busy he is right now, but I know that they are actively all working together. Okay, who else had their hand up? North of Atlanta, 30 minutes. Chattanooga? Can you two go connect with each other? And then I know that once you get into Chattanooga, you get into a whole region. Are you with the Voluntary Society? Are you connected with them? Okay. Okay, so River and Amani, who did the Hemp Creek demo, live close-ish. And there is there's a group called the Chattanooga Voluntarist Society, and they meet once a month. They have a private membership association, grocery, pre-order, get locally sourced things club, which is great. But they're coming down in the northern Georgia for sure. And then Dreadbox, Louise Milliman is also in that area. Just so you know how I remember y'all's names, that was probably a really good example. I don't always remember the names, but there's always a thing. So the two who are to connect, raise your hands right now. Do you listen to the Survival Podcast? I'm just kidding. Go meet back at the Hollows booth and share information right now, please. Don't take that step right now. It never happens. You forget what each other looks like. Who else? Who else? In the back. Way back by Trish. Trish. What's in? You don't have connections. How far are you going to drive? On October 19th at 1 p.m. at 512 Long Branch Road in Lancaster, Tennessee, there is a potluck for homesteaders who are connected to me at the Hollow Head where I am. And then after the potluck, we are going to demonstrate how to mill wood with a chainsaw. It's free. Bring a dish to share. LivingFreeInTennessee.com has a calendar. I think it's up there. If it's not, it will be this week. And if you join my email list, which is a Monday mail, it's also highlighted in there. So that's super easy. Yes. Same. No, he's further away from me than you are.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying that.
Oh, okay. Lebanon and Gallatin, stand up. You're Gallatin, you're Lebanon. Please go meet at Rosie's Sweet Temptations, which is right back there, and change information. Also, if you're not from the area, you can still come to the meetup because I heard gasps. Who else? I had one more somewhere. Blue shirt. Where are you from? Yeah. Franklin, Tennessee. Who else is from Nashville, Franklin, Greater Region? Everybody from the Nashville-ish area, go to Rosie's Sweet Temptations because y'all are really close to each other. And Gallatin and Lebanon are close to you too, so please go back there and come to the chainsaw demo. chainsaw mowing demo. So right now, go up and introduce each other back there, please. Anybody else? You're Huntsville and Alabama. Anybody? Raise your hand, Huntsville. You? Right here? Okay, could you please go to the DeVries leather booth, you two, and share information? Okay, anybody else? Yes. Austin, Texas. Come see Red Flower Media at Red Flower Media, and anybody else from Austin, like, come on up right now. She's here. Do I have anybody else? Yeah, Austin's in, okay, is that everything? Oh, yes. Here, Camden, Tennessee. Everybody from Camden, please stand up and go meet at Brenda's booth. Because Brenda's the one organizing here. Anybody else? Yes. What, Kentucky? Western Kentucky. Anybody Western Kentucky here today? You're out of luck, bud. You're gonna have to come to the chainsaw demo too. Is that it? That's an ear scratch, yes, sir. Connecticut. Anybody from Connecticut? I know Pennsylvanians, but not Connecticutans. There is a couple here from New York, I know who they are. Sorry, SOL, that doesn't mean that we don't have somebody. You never know. Is that it? Handing it back to you, Mr. Spags.
All right, now that she's diminished the crowd, we only have a third of you left to make announcements to. Thanks, Nicole. Next class, 12:30, tag. The system is lying to you, and there will be a special surprise in that class. So go eat some lunch, eat healthy, or not, whatever. Please come buy some opportunity tickets from me or the guys at the front booth. We'll see you back here in a little bit.